Welcome to the UKGJJ podcast. Your choice, your source for everything UK Gracie Jiu-Jitsu related. I'm your host as always, officially certified Gracie Academy instructor and black belt, Sacha Martin Luther King. In today's podcast. Hey, I'm excited about today. We're going to discuss the podcast and how you can access it and the various platforms that it'll be available on. I'm going to introduce myself and my history. There's the first part of a Rener Gracie interview that we did maybe a few weeks ago, a prize competition and a free giveaway. And of course, we're going to let you know how you can get involved in the show, as well as various bits and bats along the way. Stay tuned.
What's up, guys? Rener Gracie here, and you're listening to the UKGJJ podcast. Damn!
Yeah, so it really is our intention with this podcast, not only to educate and promote, but also to create a forum where you, the people, can really get involved in the jiu-jitsu discussions that are going on around the world, and in particular that of the UK. Future topics of discussion like jiu-jitsu, sports versus self-defense debate, different fight and training philosophies, the direction of jiu-jitsu past, present and future. Your thoughts? Let us know. BJJ versus MMA, the different instructors and schools, where you train, when you train, how you train, who you train, and in fact, do you even train, and where is the best place for you to do it. Products and ideas, instructionals and learning platforms such as Gracie University. What do you think about that? Contact us. Your opinion matters. The belt systems, gradings, UK seminars, the various names, icons, characters and clubs that we have within the jiu-jitsu communities, and of course the super annoying politics that plague and accompany a good many of them. Tell us your experiences. You name it, we'll discuss it. On top of all of that, we'll also be bringing you unique interviews with some of the biggest and most interesting names in jiu-jitsu and self-defense, as well as all the latest news and topics. And of course, you know we'll be keeping it very, very, very real indeed. And if you, like us, value open and honest discussions and debates, then this truly, truly, truly is the place for you to be. It's a Gracie Diet approved audio feast for your ears, and it starts now. Hey ye, hey ye, hey ye. Hello, people, and welcome to the podcast. Yes, my name is Sacha Martin Luther King. Let me give you a little overview of my life, shall we say, because we will be discussing me, my favorite topic, not really, in more detail in future lessons. I'm 40 years old. Although I look like a 23-year-old Greek god. It's true. Don't bother searching Google for any pictures. Just take my word for that. I'm married. I have 4 children, and I've been doing this jiu-jitsu thing for about 14 years. You know, but I'm a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu instructor. I'm a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu black belt. And although I started from a sports jiu-jitsu background, I evolved to a self-defense focused individual, and I'm a certified Gracie Jiu-Jitsu instructor with the Gracie Academy in Torrance, California, representing in the UK. Let's do a little bit of housekeeping. Let's be honest. Straight off the bat, although I'm now a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu black belt, I'm a white belt when it comes to podcasting. I really have no idea how this all works, but I'm willing to try and figure it all out. So, unless, of course, watching Joe Rogan's podcast in some way qualifies and prepares me for doing my own, which I'm pretty sure it doesn't, then this is really somewhat of a voyage of discovery. And you should therefore really expect and excuse the various technical difficulties and errors that are probably scattered throughout. But that's okay. We're hoping by episodes maybe 3 and 4 that not only are we starting to sail a little bit more smoothly, But then we've also figured out the filming side of the show. So you can watch this on the video version of the podcast, as well as obviously listening to it as well. And as it stands, however, episode 1 and 2 of the vidcast version of the show are available for you to watch on YouTube. By the way, you can search UKGJJ podcast episode 1. And you can generally enjoy extra such as footage, extra photos, accompany your listening experience. Yeah, you're welcome. One thing for sure, is that we want this show to be just as much yours as it is ours. And as such, we welcome all your comments, queries and concerns about the show in general, or the topics covered in it. And you can share your thoughts by emailing us here at podcast@ukgjj.com. And please be sure to add anonymous if you do not want us to disclose your name on any of the comments that we read out. Host Talk. So in this part of the show, I use 10 minutes to kind of think about or to talk about something which is close to me. Actually, it should be called host rant. Is probably more closer to the truth. But maybe, just maybe, one day, maybe I'll even talk about something that you may find interesting. But there's only one way to find out, and that's to listen. So here we go. This is part of a rant that I did with myself in my office. After all, I'm the host, so I get to choose what it is. In today's podcast, the topic is how I found Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. For me, how I got into it. It's kind of hard, just kind of ranting on to yourself, recording yourself rant for 10 minutes is an unusual experience. Let's see how you find it. Without further ado, here's me in my office ranting. Host Talk. So my history, well, pretty much started like most people's, to be honest. That's when my brother brought home I think it was a videotape at the time. I mean, that's how long ago this was, of the UFC, of the first few UFCs. Wow. I guess looking back at it was probably one of the single most life-changing kind of events that I kind of ever went through, I guess. I mean, because as soon as my brother put that tape into the video machine and we started watching it, the words can't explain it. It was like a car crash that you just couldn't look away from. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, and I was young and impressionable or whatever, but to see that level of violence, should I say, at the time, oh wow, it was. I mean, I don't want to sound like a psycho, but it was amazing. For me, it was amazing. And I don't watch snuff movies, by the way, or anything like that. But that's what I always kind of, what's the word? Yeah, that's what I kind of, that's the feeling that it kind of had. When we put those videos in and we started watching those videos, it seemed to all intents and purposes that we were breaking the law, right? As in, the police would knock down the door, pull out the video, and arrest us both for watching that, because it had that kind of snuff movie kind of energy to it. Do you know what I mean? As in, we could potentially be watching people die right now, right? But guess what? That didn't put us off it. If anything, that was the anticipation of the next fight, what could happen, the violence. I remember, was it Orlando Veets doing those elbows on that dude's head? Boom, 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 boom. Oh my God. Amazing. It was amazing. To me and to my brother, it was amazing. We had never, ever seen anything like that before. Do you know what I mean? We could only imagine. Well, apart from in the street. You know what I'm saying? But we had never seen that kind of thing on like TV as a spectacle before. So the shock value was absolutely amazing. But you know what was also interesting, now I think about it, is that like most of us of that era, 80s or whatever it was, our adults, our parents, our guardians or whatever, put us into karate, right? It was all about karate back in the day. So even before watching these UFCs, my brother and I were, we were doing Shokukan karate. Was it Shokukai, whatever? We were getting up there. We were doing all our katas. We were doing all this kind of stuff, whatever. I mean, in my head, yeah, of course, I could beat up those 30 invisible people. I did it in my kata every day. Do you know what I'm saying? So fighting, or the idea of fighting, right, and the reality of fighting are two different things. And within this podcast, I'm sure we're definitely gonna get into that area in regards to theoretical versus practical. I mean, that's down the road. Trust me, we're gonna get there, people. Right now, this is about the UFC. So, yeah. Anyway, to cut a long story short, sorry for rambling. We watched this thing. It was my hands would be shaking as I'm watching what's going on. At this point, I don't know what Hoist was gonna do or anything like that. It really didn't matter at this point, because it wasn't me watching Hoist in the first UFCs. It wasn't what it was. It was me watching UFC. It was me watching these guys in a cage from all other martial arts systems fighting each other in what seemed to be to the death. You know what I'm saying? In what seemed to be to the death. You know what I mean? That in itself, my friend, is definitely worth booking me in for next week. You know what I mean? I'm watching next week, and the week after that, and the week after that. So I was already hooked from that point of view. The art of violence, whatever. I was, and so were you. Don't lie. So were you. That's cool. So I'm watching the event anyway, and it's only in already being kind of captivated by this event that Hoist appeared. Like a knight in shining armor. I didn't even realize how significant it was while I'm watching it. But yeah, of course, I saw the guy go in, guy in a gi. Hey, a gi, right? We know gis. So a guy in a gi went in, and all of a sudden, he's doing really well. I mean, like really well. Because there were other people there who just kind of looked like killers. Do you know what I mean? They look like killers. Straight off the Street Fighter movies. Video game even. But Hoist came in there and he did his thing. And I don't really need to go over that because it's all ground. Everybody knows that. Hoist went in as the little guy. And he basically defeated giants. And boom. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu kind of hit the big time, so to speak. Well, in that respect. I mean, it was already big in Brazil, obviously. But yeah, that was a good introduction to it, and it's only because I was already captivated by the spectacle of the UFCs and I saw this guy doing well in there, that I was like, you know what, that's amazing. I mean, I'm a small guy, I'm a little guy. If he can do it, so can I. Do you know? I want to learn what that guy is doing, because I was then, and I am still now, interested in stuff that really works. Do you know what I'm saying? In the stuff that is proven time and time again to be effective. That's what I'm personally interested in. And it could have been this could have been the Muay Thai, UK Muay Thai podcast if things had gone the other way. because I was open then. I was sold with the spectacle of the UFC. And my scientific mind was going to evaluate what the best style, I guess, if there was one, if there was the one definitive one that came up, was the best out of them all. Because whatever won, or whatever proved to be the most effective, is the one that I want to learn. You know what I'm saying? So if Muay Thai went in there and wrecked everybody, this would be a different podcast, I guarantee you. This would be me talking about, you know, how I watched the first UFC and this little guy called, you know, Muay Thai, whatever, Nekatai, whatever, beat everybody up. And then we'd be having this discussion. But it didn't happen that way, did it? It didn't happen that way at all. So, yeah. Mine, like a lot of people, especially around my age, and I'm no spring chicken right now, you know, 40 years old. That's 40, count it, people. It's ridiculous. I think that my introduction was the same as most people around my age, to be honest. It was that impactful. It's interesting as well, and like I say, this is gonna turn out to be pretty much a no holds barred podcast in regards to the honesty that I'm gonna bring to this, and hopefully, you know, the listeners out there, and the questions that we get, and the interviews that we do. Got to keep it real, my friend. You know, it's all about keeping it real. The UFC back then was keeping it real, for real. And now we hope to do the same thing with this podcast. So I had for many years, pretty much all of the years, attributed Hoist for basically getting me involved in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. It was all Hoist as far as I was concerned, right? It was Hoist is a legend. He is an absolute legend. But in my head, it was all about him. It was all about Hoist that made it happen. And of course, he was the vehicle. You know what I mean? That introduced, to the most part, everybody seeing, well, in this side of the world anyway, everybody's seeing what is possible through that martial arts style. Now, as I got older and I continued in my journey, and I found myself, you know, aligned with the Gracie Academy, and I really analyzed the story a bit further, I really got a little bit more knowledgeable in what was going on, then I really have to give pretty much so much of my kind of respect, credit, or whatever for getting me on this path is Horian. It's Horian and Gracie. Because he was the architect that made that event, or that spectacular ganzer happen. You saying, if it wasn't for Horian's vision of getting his message out in whichever way that he decided to do that, then I wouldn't been watching the UFC in the first place. Do you know what I mean? So in many respects, Horian changed my life. Just like his father changed his, right? But I never got to meet, unfortunately, his father, right? But like I can say personally, it was the start for me was the UFC. The way that infomercial was cleverly and strategically put together as a plan, first and foremost, and as a strategy, and then Hoist being the vehicle, the instrument to really underline all of that was, to me, absolutely life-changing. It literally changed my life. It did. And I'm sure we'll get into that in later talks. But yeah, that's basically what got me into this.
I'm Eve Torres, and you're listening to the UKGJJ podcast.
That's how it all started for me. On the next show, we're going to move it on, and I'm going to discuss my Gracie Baja beginnings all the way to my Gracie Academy evolution. Right now, however, it's henna time. For any of you guys out there in listener land who don't know who Rener Gracie is, he's one of Horry and Gracie's sons and a driving force behind the Gracie Academy global domination. This is part one of an interview that I conducted with him in March of 2014, that's this year, at his new home in Los Angeles. This just happened just before he got married. Here it is. Enjoy. So I'm sitting down with Rener Gracie, the head instructor of the Gracie Academy in Torrance, California, mastermind behind Gracie University, acai pimp, avocado.
Come on, bro.
Avocado killer.
I thought I've heard them all, man. Acai pimp, really?
How's things going?
Dang, bro. Do you script this stuff or what? Where do you come up with this kind of garbage? Come on, man. No, I'm kidding. I'm only jealous because it's true. Just had a nice little acai bowl, so the energy is on full tilt right now, bro. Couldn't be happier to be talking to you. If I was hungry, it would not be a good time to interview me. Let's just say that.
So, Rener, you seem to be at a different part of the world every other week. You're doing Gracie University. I know what your schedule is. It's a crazy schedule. What's it like being Rener Gracie?
Well, I don't know, man. I've met a lot of busy people, but I don't think I've met as many people that are consumed and demanded by so many crazily different things. Completely different things. You know, from, last week teaching the U.S. Air Force in Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio here, Dayton, Ohio, to this week teaching a group of law enforcement professionals in Torrance, California, to, a bully-proof kids camp, in the weeks to come for 60 kids in Flint, Michigan. So it's amazing how different it is, and what's just so cool that Jiu-Jitsu is the kind of the glue that holds the whole thing together, but it's being applied in so many different ways. It's just such a cool era of Jiu-Jitsu expansion to be part of. It does feel like I'm swimming in a blender at times, but at least it's a Vitamix, and at least it's a blender that also makes acai bowls.
I mean, how do you find the time to do anything else? I mean, your plate is really, really full in regards to the business and everything else. I mean, you must have to make time to go to the beach or to relax or spend time with Eve. I mean, yeah. How do you manage that?
Shoot, bro, it's a great question. At some point, you just have to, and I think I do a reasonable job. Eve might say differently, but I think I do a reasonable job of drawing the line and really, being able to get away and go take the dog to the forest and go for a hike with the puppy and with Eve and just go to the beach and and just do nothing for, I try to take at least a couple of days, a day or day and a half off a week to just, re-energize. But, I'm not going to say. Some people have diagnosed me with, that proper workaholic disease. And I don't know, it doesn't feel like work though. You know what I'm saying? Because, like my father always said, when you run because you like to run, you don't get tired. So for me, even though it feels crazy and some people looking from the outside think I'm a lunatic, at the end of the day, if people knew the degree to which I was influencing lives in a positive way, and if people got the feedback and the gratitude from the people on the other end that I'm getting, they too would be motivated to do what I'm doing. I just feel like anybody who was in my position would be doing the same thing,
That's what they say. They say do a job you love and never work a day in your life.
I'm doing it.
But you're still relatively young. Well, you're 30 years old right now. Even the way you talk, and I noticed this because I've had an opportunity to know you for about 6 years. Even the way that you've talked it's always been ahead of the game. You know, very eloquent for a guy at 24 years old. When I was told that you were 24, when I originally thought you, I found it hard to believe. You know what I mean? Someone with such a depth of vocabulary is kind of ridiculous. You know, so the amount that you've achieved. At a young age of 30 is pretty commendable to me.
Thanks, man. And the reason this has been possible is because I didn't start from zero. You see what I'm saying? I started on top of, 50, 60 years of, work done by my ancestors. So the way I look at it and the way I've come to realize is it's not Rener Gracie. You know what I'm saying? It's the Gracie legacy. And it's such a strong legacy and it's such a long-standing legacy that it simply could not have been accomplished by one individual. But the way I see it is we're all one in the sense that Generation 1, Carlos, Eddie, what was their job? Learn, modify, perfect, develop, create a system of self-defense. Generation 2, what was their job? Take what was created and prove its effectiveness to the world. Generation 3, what's our job? Make it learnable to the world. Make it accessible to everyone who wants to learn. So to me, that's just a perfectly linear, 3-phase, one legacy, one objective, which is shared jiu-jitsu to the world. And if one person could live for, 200 years, they could accomplish all of this, you see? But it's not possible, so what has happened? We've split it up over 3 generations, but I see it in my head and I treat it and I own it and I take pride in it and I commit to it as if it was, as if I was my grandfather, doing everything he did to make the roots strong, as if I was my second generation, my father, my uncles, all united in one person, as if we were all one individual. That's how I kind of look at it, and it helps me kind of keep me balanced and keep me motivated that we have a lot of work ahead, and to drop the ball at this stage of the game and not continue with the mission would be in many ways a great tragedy because, there's so much work to be done and there's so many lives to be touched by the work that has been established by my ancestors. So it's worth it, man. It's good work. It's hard work, but it's worthy work. And I bought into the philosophy a long time ago that, you can't give yourself into debt in the sense that if you're giving and you're truly giving and you're truly changing lives and you're truly impacting people in a positive way, you cannot give too much. It's impossible because no matter what you give, and no matter what reward, financial or otherwise, you get or don't get in the early phases of that giving mission, it's impossible not to have it kick back later, you see? So I just went full bore and I said, okay, let's see if I can give myself into debt here. And I just gave in those first, 8 to 10 years of just doing it. And, it obviously, it's worked and it's now, paying off finally. But more than anything, it's paying off in the lives touched and in the, the goodwill that is being established for what we represent.
My name is Rener Gracie, and you're listening to the UKGJJ podcast.
You can really see the fruits of your labor really starting to blossom, so to speak.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we mentioned Eve earlier on. For the people that don't know, Eve is your fiance, Eve Torres, ex WWE diva, all-round nice girl. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, something in the horizon here. We're taking it to the next level. Congratulations, you're getting married, Hannah.
Getting married, bro. I had to just take it to the next level and make it happen because. You can only stall so long. You can only, play for points so long. Eventually you have to go for the submissions. And, that's how we do it at the Gracie Academy. We just try to go for the submissions, and she definitely, she definitely deserved it. And she's wonderful, She's the smartest woman I've ever met. The only woman I've ever met that challenges me in a way that she does. Probably the only person, that is intellectually challenges me and really just helps me keep me balanced. It's so funny. She provides advice and input in the most unique ways. Like, I have so many mentors that give me good advice in different ways, but she's the advisor when in decisions and in categories that nobody else really can talk to me and can speak to me and can get through to me on. She's the one. Whether it's family drama or issues with this or that or business issues, she always has a fresh perspective that is you know, it's not always what I want to hear, but it's what I need to hear. And, you know, that's why she's getting the ultimate submission.
So are you, I mean, obviously you've never been married before. Are you nervous about this at all? I mean, how is having a wife, is this going to affect the way you run business? Is this going to affect the way you go?
I've been married for the last 6 years in my mind, in the sense that, you know, I've never been the promiscuous type that wants to, you know what I'm saying, like go out and like, you know, date or be with as many women as possible. And it's weird because I come from a family where, you know, that is, you know, I'm not going to say that type of behavior is not foreign to the Gracie family, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to drop names, but it's just, you know, it's interesting. It's a Brazilian thing too. It's a Brazilian thing. I'm not going to lie. It's but my mom's American, so I was very fortunate to have half of my upbringing come from a balanced American, you know, normal, you know, woman that really helped me balance myself and understand how women should be treated and all of that. And all by way of saying that in my mind, I've been married for quite some time now, in the sense of commitment, in the sense of loyalty, in the sense of, you know, appreciation and, you know, communal gratitude. So it's not very different for me. And I'm, you know, it's not like I'm scared. Oh my gosh, commitment phobia. Like, you know, it's like some teenager, you know, some little, you know, 20-something-year-old punk who, you know, is doing it for the wrong reasons. It's not like that. You know, for me, it's all the right reasons. I want to keep her around forever. She's my favorite person to be around and do stuff with. So, you know, no reason to lock that deal in and, you know, get some baby Gracies, you know what I'm saying, joining the party here, and, you know, it's all good.
Are you actually getting involved in the wedding planning, so to speak, or is your plate already too full to get involved in that as well, or are you just leaving it to Eve?
No, she's pretty much doing, you know, most of the stuff. Yeah, she'll get to the point where she gets so overwhelmed with decisions that she'll just kind of like say, Hannah, just pick something. Just choose one of these 3 right here, and I'll just choose one, and, you know, life goes on. So I kind of help her. When she gets too stressed out to make a decision, I'll just make a decision, and I'll act like it really matters. Like, no, this one for sure right here. Like, she's like, Hannah, which one? Here's how it would go. She's like, Hannah, which one do you like? This one or this one? And I'm like, baby, it's not even an option. Obviously, A is 10 times better. I can't even believe you gave me options on these. Because she just wants someone to say for sure, you know. And there's no difference. I can't even tell the difference between the two freaking invitations and how they're going to care. There's no difference in the whole world until I said that. Nobody cares about our invitations. And, you know, she stresses out about little things like that because she cares and wants to make it perfect, you know. And she wants to do that for me. So it's like, you know, when I need to give her some input and make it seem like, you know, seem like I care, I'll do it. You know what I'm saying?
And there's already a new member to your union anyway with the dog, where Choki. YouTube, another Twitter sensation. Is it Twitter? What?
Instagram, yeah. So Choki's our puppy. His name is Choki. Instagram, follow him at Choki, Tioki, Choki the dog, on Instagram. Yeah, he has about 2,500 followers. He's more famous than most,
celebrities.
So, no, he's a little pup, man. He's a cool guy. We put a couple pictures of his little blue eyes on the Instagram, and game over. All the girls were following him right away. But he's cool, man. Dogs are interesting. It's good baby practice, and I'm not gonna lie. You know, I just much more demanding than I thought. And now I see why so many people treat their dogs like people. You know what I'm saying? Like little people of the family, because they have little personalities. They're freaking, you know, they're mischievous. They're loving as can be. They wake up in the morning and they're cute and they, you know what I'm saying, they're cuddly when they need to be. They're rambunctious when they need to be. They're playful. They're protective. There's very interesting. The amount of dynamic personalities you can get out of a freaking dog, I never would have guessed. And the amount of work it goes into teaching him how to potty train in the beginning is so demanding that once he finally figures out, you got to love him like a human. It's like a little baby who finally learned how to, you know, whatever.
I can see the energy that you have with the dog, though. It's kind of you love that little creature. The way you play it. People haven't seen that side of Rener Gracie before. It's like, wow, look at Rener. Like,
no, they've seen it. Watch the Gracie Bullyproof DVD. Same thing. Little kids, little dogs, same category.
In the next show,
there's always somebody saying something negative about the positive things that you're trying to put out there.
The criticism comes from ignorance. If you don't understand something, you don't qualify to criticize it. It's just hollow anger at success. Not anybody can do what I can do. It's hard to sit in front of a camera every single day.
Why is Rener Gracie not competing? Why is Rener Gracie not in the UFC?
My opinions and my judgments of Europe were as uneducated and malinformed as, you know, the general public's opinions and of Gracie University.
Don't miss it.
Yep, so that was Rener. I look forward to the next show. Well, I can play you the rest of that interview. And believe me, we talk about some of the hot topics and issues that are going on right now. So, yeah, definitely don't miss it. On the next podcast, we really do want you to get involved. And the topic of discussion is Gracie Combatives, the Gracie Combatives program. Just in case you haven't heard of it, this program was released by the Gracie Academy about 6 years ago. I myself have been teaching it for about, the same amount of time. So I'm really interested to hear your thoughts and your comments on this course. But I want to hear your thoughts on it. I want to hear your thoughts. Is it the next big thing? Or is it just a clever marketing tool? Podcast at UKGJJ.com. Send us an email. We may even read it out. Yep. I feel in the giving mood. Get yourself to UKGJJ.com right now. Look for the icon, the free PDF icon on the homepage. Press it, follow the instructions, and get yourself a free 4-phase fight strategy guide. A guide that, if you don't know already, will outline to you how you, that's you at home, can fight anybody. And it doesn't matter who you're fighting. It could be a wrestler, a boxer, karate guy, or just a big drunk in the street. This guide will give you or outline the strategy of how you fight anybody. All you need to do, like I say, is go to www.ukgjj.com, look for the free PDF icon, press it, follow the instructions, and that's yours. You're welcome. So it's competition time. Brought to you by UKGJJ Shop. Your chance to win a Keep It Playful patch and a Gracie Gear T-shirt. All you need to do is answer this simple question. How many techniques make up the Gracie Combatives program? That's how many techniques make up the Gracie Combatives program. If you know the answer, email it to podcast@ukgjj.com. And it could be your chance to win. UKGJJ Shop is your source for all Gracie imports brought to you direct from the UK. Half the time, half the hassle. So it's true what they say. Time really does fly when you're having fun, because that's the end of the show. I hope you enjoyed it. We hope that you will be tuning in for the next show. And yeah, we got through it without blowing anything up, which was pretty cool. Like we said before, if you have any comments, queries, or concerns, we are super interested to hear from you. Shout us an email at podcast@ukgjj.com. And yeah, we look forward to massaging your ears with our audios next week. So until next time, goodbye, people.
My friends, Rener Gracie, for the first time ever in the UK. I didn't think it was ever going to happen, but it happened. Two main reasons. Number one, the people spoke. They wanted Rener Gracie Jiu-Jitsu seminar. They got a Rener Gracie Jiu-Jitsu seminar. It was killer, 8 hours in one day. 6 months of Jiu-Jitsu progress in one day. Ask them, they'll tell you it's true. I'll be back next year. So make sure you look it up, GracieAcademy.com. The other reason why I was able to come to the UK in peace, two reasons. Number one, I didn't have to pack a gi. When I got here, it was already hooked up. UKGJJ. I got my boys, Sacha, Josh, running the show up in Bradford. Amazing online store. They have all the goodies. Shop.ukgjj.com. And you say, okay, cool, they got gis, big deal. Everyone has gis nowadays, and it's true. However, it goes to the next level. Follow me. Now, friends, get very close and read the box. Okay? I get so many emails, so many messages, so many Facebook. Rener, you make the dopest acai videos. Where do we get this acai? My friends, the mystery has been solved. And the only way they got me here, frozen ice packs. And within, these are frozen bricks, my friend. These have been in storage. Hey! You guys, it's so real what we have right now. This is shop.ukgjj.com. They sell frozen acai bricks in the UK straight to your house, and it will come with layers of ice packs in between the acai, so it stays frozen for up to 48 hours while it's being shipped to you. So it maintains the antioxidant rich value, nutritional value of the cellular molecular biochemical structures of the acai. You guys, there are no words to describe this, so I don't know why I'm trying. This is crazy. This I did not expect. I showed up and the box was ready, and it's full of acai. I plan on going back to LA very quickly, but I think I'm going to extend my stay. Respect, shop.ukgjj.com. The bottom line is, they're keeping it real on a very high level. Now, one thing they don't have, the Andy Gracie cell phone case. So for that, you got to go to GracieAcademy.com. Peace.